Thanks for joining. Please hit that subscribe button and enjoy. So, the best dirt bike ever? Well, there it is. I've had a bunch over the years. There's the one that started it. Started all of this craziness for me. It was an RT100. Now look at this thing. Then I had a 92 KX125. Now, back to the KTM, the best. 94, and later had a 95 YZ250. Then I stepped up to a YZ426. Still not this bike. And then I had a 03 and 05 WR450. Not the same as this fuel injected 2-stroke 300cc bike. 07 also had an 09, looked like that WR450. I'm just showing you these bikes because I want to give you an idea of the bikes I've had before this one. Missed out to that DR400. Close contender was the KTM 500 EXE there, which also this next bike, the 18 Husky 501, essentially the same bike as that KTM. Both were excellent. Downsides vibration. My KTM 790. I still have that bike, but that's a whole different style of riding. So as you can see, I've had quite a few previous dirt bikes to give myself an opinion of this one. And I'll say this is the best dirt bike that I've ever owned, and possibly could have been ever made. It's an amazing bike. Use it on my little motocross track that I built for the kids, and works fine. Yeah, I know it's not a motocross bike. I'm not a motocross rider for the most part. I used to do it years ago, and I still enjoy getting out and doing just a little bit. So as you can see, tackles that just fine. This bike's 100% stock. It's a 21 KTM 300. And the only mods I've done were I did put springs in it for my weight front and rear, because I'm 285, so it's still probably a little soft, but it's just right for me for the trails, and then it still does the track really well. So if you're still watching this, you're wondering about these bikes because they are expensive and you're trying to justify, does it make a good decision to get one? I'll tell you this, with those previous bikes I've had, when it comes to off-road riding, none of them compare to this bike. It's really light. The 2-stroke is going to be cheaper, I think, to maintain in the long run than like those 500cc 4-stroke bikes I had. Those bikes also just too much handlebar vibration. If it wasn't for the handlebar vibration, those 500s would be hands down one of the best bikes ever made, and they still are, as long as you can get past the handlebar vibration. But that said, this bike doesn't vibrate at all like that. You've got electric start, you've got a 6-speed wide ratio transmission, you've got your factory headlight on it. It's lightweight. It's got all the newest features and essentially all the best parts that you can get, in my opinion, for a brand new bike. So would I buy it again with as expensive as it was? Yes, I would. I'm fortunate in my state. It's very simple to get a tag on it also, so it is street legal. I've got my license plate on it. Now, would I ride it on the street like I rode my 500s that were factory street legal? No, you're not going to take a big trip like that. But to go into town, cut across town, or if you're going riding on trails somewhere and you've got to connect on a gravel road or do whatever, it's really nice to have that. But do I have any complaints about the bike? Zero complaints. Highly recommend it. It's something you need to get a chance to ride one if you haven't, and I think you'll be hooked. Now, I'm not going over all the specs and every single feature. There's plenty of videos out there like that, just kind of sharing a little bit of helmet cam footage. Here you're going to see me go from the track to riding some logging road trails that are around our property. Just super fun for doing that. I've been out to Colorado with the Husky 501 and ridden some extreme single track trails, and that was an excellent time. Actually, you can see another video I have of that as well posted. That was awesome on the 501. It was a great bike, but you could tell after, I think we rode 80 to 90 miles, I don't remember anymore, most of it single track. The extra weight of the bigger bike did come into play. This bike, when I get on it, and maybe now so it feels even more crazy because my other bike is that 790R, but I feel like I'm on a mountain bike when I'm on this bike. It's so light. You can just throw it around. It doesn't feel like it weighs anything underneath you. Like here, climbing this, there's a couple bad spots right there. It's nothing to just throw the bike around wherever you want it to go. So it's really crazy. And I used to not think the 500s were a heavy bike either. I rode those aggressively and I loved them, but they still don't compare to this bike off-road. You can definitely feel the extra weight of those bikes. So just sharing my initial thoughts for this bike. Was it expensive? Yeah. But I'm hoping that I won't have to buy one again. I've never bought, you saw the lineup of bikes I've had over the years. There were two strokes at the beginning, which was years ago, and none of those were purchased new. That was all used bikes. Some of the four strokes you saw, those I did purchase new as my riding career has progressed. But there hasn't been a two-stroke bike that's came out in the last 20 years that I just couldn't, stand myself to not go to the dealership and buy. Some of the four strokes, yeah, those made the list and made the cut here in the video and those pictures. But I've thought hard, wanted to go buy a YZ 250 a couple times because you could still get them, and I think they're great bikes too. But I still don't think they compare to what this bike is capable of. And then my hope is, I think once you pick up one of these, as long as you maintain it and take care of it, it's probably going to last you for many, many years of riding enjoyment. And I don't know what else they can hardly do. I mean, you've got fuel injection, counterbalance, electric start, two-stroke. Other than making it a 500cc from the factory, there's not much else you could do to make it much more appealing. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Have a good one.